Welcome to episode 391 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg. We got our usual panel here this week. Great to see everybody. We'll start off with, she's always the first one here, Jill McKinley. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great. It is a Friday Eve.
It is. It is. Glad you're here. Also glad it's here that he's here is Ben Roethig. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good. I'm kind of feeling the essence of newness.
The essence of newness. Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it this week. Jeff Gamet, so glad to have you here. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. And it's like therapy because my schedule didn't let me join in on Mac Voices Live on Tuesday. So I missed half of my my evening happiness routine.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's like therapy to be here tonight. I have to recharge.
All right. Well, you've got to be lots to recharge about. Chuck Joyner, he is here. How you doing, Chuck?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Yes, I'm good to see you. I was thinking about Jeff's happiness routine and was just terrified at what the implications would be of that.
I'll make diagrams for you, Chuck.
Please don't. No,
he's got.
Well, have you been following me on Inktober?
I say Inktober.
Give you like an inkling.
Yeah,
we're going to hold you to that. Last but certainly not least, he is traveling, but I'm glad he's here. Eric Bolden, how you doing, Eric?
Great to be here. Done scaring myself for the day, so
I see. Yeah, that's right. You pre-show you said that's a walking uphill there a little bit.
Yeah, up to the tall observation tower, looking out over water. I think there's more down there. I was just scared to.
Yeah, exactly. So. There might be a few things to talk about this week. Apple made some major announcements, like breaking news this week. We're going to kind of break up the news and just talk about what the breaking news is, and we'll just put it into all of our segments for this week. So let's just jump right into it, and let's go right into that breaking news. So 3 things that were announced this week, and that should be yesterday as we record this. First off, Apple did debut the iPad Pro M5 with a faster chip and faster charging and all kinds of other stuff. We'll hit on that one. Not too my first impression here, nothing too exciting about the iPad as far as I'm concerned, but we'll talk. Second thing that was announced was a new 14-inch MacBook Pro. It's the M5 chip, and that looks appealing. I think it's going to be something that it's going to sell very well, being at the new M5 chip. We'll talk about that. And then lastly, believe it or not, they did announce a new Vision Pro. Did I ever think I was ever going to say that? It's been so long, but they did with the M5 chip. Lots to talk about on that. We're going to hit that just a minute here. And there's all kinds of great stuff here. So talking about Vision Pro, let's go right into it. In touch with the Vision Pro this week. Before we talk about it, Vision OS 26.1 Beta 3 was released, and didn't really see much as it's been continuing on with 26.1 Beta. Resolved a few issues, and it really wasn't much, right, Marty?
no, really, not much with the latest Vision OS beta at all.
Yeah.
Really, it's
been quiet.
I looked at it, tried to figure it out compared to the previous ones, and it just seems like some minor updates for developers.
Yeah.
Which it's not like they're gonna add some new thing in that we've never heard about.
Right.
We're gonna have to wait for the next 0.2 to see anything dramatic.
Yeah. Eric, did you travel with your Vision Pro?
Yes, I did.
I thought you did. Anything you saw? That's right. You're not running beta.
Travel with the beta.
You did not travel with beta, so I won't ask. So that's pretty much it as far as that goes. But the big story again this week, Apple did release the Vision Pro. It's with an M5 chip. It's got a dual knit band. We'll talk about that. And it's 120 hertz of support. The M5 has a 10-core CPU, a 10-core GPU, and neutral accelerators, as well as a 16-core neutral engine. And they have confirmed that it still only has 16 gigs of RAM, which is unusual that they didn't do this. So this is, to me, kind of a light update, but the chip's going to make a big difference. It's going to be faster performance than longer battery life compared to the previous model, because the previous model was an M2 chip. There's, again, it's not out in the wild yet because people were pre-ordering it, but they're saying it's a much faster 16-core neural engine, neural accelerator, and the R1 chip, which Ben, you did point out, is the same as it is on the M2 model. But they did also stick with Wi-Fi 6, which was unusual. It's not with Wi-Fi 6E. So you're paying $3,500 for a Vision Pro, and you can't have the latest Wi-Fi. Bluetooth current, and design changes the same. Nothing really changed. So, Marty, I'll start with you. I believe you pre-ordered. What was your first impressions of what? I mean, I knew you were already ready to go and order it, so there wasn't any question of that. But...
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
I was at a medical facility doing some screening, and I got the notice that it had come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting in the room trying to quickly order it. So I didn't pay much attention, but I wanted to get it ordered. So I do have one coming. It's interesting. I will compare obviously to the first generation version of Vision Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Going to have some better visual acuity with it. Going to be better in terms of reading type. Some of these upgrades, I think, were more for folks who are using it for work and productivity than for play, because of the things that they've added into it. 3 hours of video, 2.5 hours general use is kind of nice, but I think that's basically because they're using a different processor.
Right.
Disappointed they didn't put an R2 chip in it to kind of give us the double for that. So yeah, I've got one coming, and I might give my first gen to my no good son to play with.
What a guy.
For a while.
What a guy.
That's swell. Wow.
Eric, you read through the specs as you were traveling. Any first impressions as well? What was announced on it, and we'll go through some of the feature comparisons in a minute here.
Yeah, it's a nice upgrade. It's nothing major.
Yeah.
I don't think most people have to worry about getting rid of their old Vision Pro and upgrading right away.
Yeah.
I think by next spring, there might be some features available that you'll want the newer version, the M5.
Mm-hmm.
But right this second, I don't think it matters. It is kind of nice that peripherals are cross-compatible between the two devices. I appreciated that a lot. So anyone who does want to upgrade, you don't have to go order new lenses right away.
Yep. That's good.
So it's a good
sign.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there was a bit of a controversy because there was some publication and some people were saying, wait a minute, we got a new one and it weighs more.
Mm-hmm.
And the weight, I guess, the headband. And they've put some ribs into the headband to kind of give a little bit more support. Overall, the device without the headband is actually slightly 20 grams lighter. They're doing some new things with the heating elements in it, or I should say the cooling elements in it. Those of us who use it are used to getting that nice warm air with the fans when they kick on. And so I'm interested to see how that works. But there was this argument, wait a minute, now it's going to weigh more. Well, maybe it is slightly, but it should have better stability on your head.
Yeah. Anybody else on the panel want to add any comments on Vision Pro? Go ahead, Ben.
I was just thinking it was kind of genius because now maybe 25% of y'all are going to buy another one, right? And then you're going to give it to your no good sons. And so it increases the pool of people out there who have Apple Vision Pros.
Well, except for Chuck.
If I have two. Yep. I have two thoughts on this. Number one, I wonder if this was kind of a supply chain update more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, making additional M2s or putting supply in them probably became a little bit of a hassle. So it made sense to upgrade. Also, this is the first time we've really seen a Vision product with a top-of-the-line processor.
Yeah. Agreed.
So it'll be interesting to see how it does with the latest and greatest instead of a processor that had already been replaced by the time the product shipped.
Yeah. Jeff, did you have any?
I just have one question.
Go ahead, Jill.
I just want to be Eric's no good son. Hey, can I be your no good son?
Well, maybe daughter.
Yeah, I mean, your daughter, but yeah, can I be your no good daughter?
Yeah, I will.
I'm pretty sure I'm older than you are, but yeah, it's all right.
but for purposes of device reallocation, that makes sense.
It does.
Device reallocation. I like that. I like that.
Chuck,
I want to
go
echo. I want to echo Ben's sentiment. I feel like this is an upgrade that is not going to really be appreciated for a little while, because now we have the M5 in this headset, and to say the previous generation was underpowered is probably wildly inaccurate, but this feels like they're building again for the future.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting their top chip, not necessarily in their top end production machine. I mean, yes, it's in the 14-inch MacBook Pro, and we'll talk about that eventually. But it's in this edgier device that they're pushing, and so I feel like there's a deep message there. I just don't know exactly what it is, but I think it does bode well for the future of the Apple Vision Pro.
Well, Chuck, I have a hypothesis on what at least part of that message might be.
Okay,
and that's that Apple has still very ambitious plans for AI, and Vision Pro will play a big part in that. And M5 is a processor that's designed with Apple's AI strategy in mind. Therefore, they need to get that chip in there now.
Yeah. Okay.
But that means it's going to come like in the next year.
Yeah.
The AI strategy.
Well, if they can keep people on staff, sure.
Yeah. What AI strategy, I think, is the question.
Yeah.
We might hit on that later.
That's a really good question.
Time permitting here. So, so in the show notes, I did provide a really nice overview of the Vision Pro as well as the feature comparison. We went pretty much through a lot of this stuff already. The chip and architecture, as we know, the memory bandwidth is going from 100 to 153 gigabits, and then the display rendering is from 100 hertz to 120. Performance is going to be Apple says about 50% faster in AI operations. Battery life, a little bit of a bump with the 2.5 hours general use, 3 hours of video playback. Again, we'll talk about the dual. You can have the solo knit or you're going to have the new dual knit band, and we'll talk about that in a minute here, where it's only the solo. We've all, Marty, Eric, and I have bought all kinds of alternatives that we looked at. And you're right, the weight is a little bit higher. It goes from 600 to 650 grams to 750 to 800 grams. So you got to have to wonder, why is that that much heavier? You got to wonder that. Storage, all about the same, 256, 512, or 1 terabyte. And then everything's going to be supportive, and then it's the M5 is going to be fully backwards compatible to any of the 5 M2 accessories. So, like you said, I'm very, very happy to hear that it's kind of like the Apple Watch. The bands have worked for 10 years. Well, I'm glad to see that they're going to do the same thing with the Vision Pro. and it's basically identical. I mean, I would kind of agree with this. A summary in here just basically saying that your experience is going to remain excellent, but professionals will probably would want this with the AR creation, 3D rendering, and the multitasking. That's going to be probably some of the things in there. So I put a really nice write-up in there as far as the comparison, so you can take a look at that in the show notes. A couple other things going on. We have Apple is not going to offer trade-ins yet. Now, I missed the article that you shared with me earlier, Eric, in Reddit, saying that someone did talk to an engineer that they're asking about it, and they think. So stay tuned because the pre-orders were today or yesterday, and it's going to start shipping and be available on October 22nd. So stay tuned for that. I'd be very surprised if they didn't offer some sort of trade-in plan because, boy, I tell you, looking at some of these trade-in other companies, one of them wanted to offer like $1,250. Really? No, come on. This thing still has some value. I think that's a little underestimated. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And then let's talk a little bit about the products. But before we get to the products, I wanted to talk a little bit about this new headset. It's called the Hover headset. And Marty and I both bought it. I did not install it just yet, but I do have it here. And I wanted to see if you tried it yet, Marty, on your Vision Pro, and what was the experience was.
Yeah, I tried it. Now I'm real curious about what the dual band is going to be like that comes out for the Vision Pro. That you don't have to have the new one to get it, apparently. I know, Dave, I think you ordered, or Eric ordered one.
Yeah.
This is an interesting piece because whereas you usually feel the Vision Pro tightening around your head and the occipital lobes in the back of your head, this replaces the weight on the crown of your head. So imagine wearing a crown and having it down. It feels more comfortable after wearing it. The thing that takes a little adjustment is the actual device is floating in front of you.
Yes, this is
so you have
simulation
two yeah, you have two advantages. You first have the weight distributed on the crown of your head pushing down, or the weight being supported there, and then it's not on your face anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that sense of seal or weight pushing back on your face. It's just, it drops down in front of your field of vision and you go. Now, I had a couple of situations using it where Vision Pro said, "Oh, it looks like you're a little far from the device. You need to move up closer to the device." And I can probably adjust that so it fits tighter, but it's a weird good feeling that you don't have something compressed on your face.
I made the comment before when I first saw it, before I bought it. Kind of makes me feel like a granny sunglasses that you're flipping up those glasses while you're inside or something. It's very similar, but it does. I mean, again, I need to try it, and we had a busy week here. We just received it this week, so but it is I think it's a good idea, But go ahead, Ben. You had some comment.
Yeah, and if anybody kind of wants a real world equivalent to this, imagine a pair of night vision goggles, because it looks very similar on the website.
Yep.
I really thought you were going to go with a speeder bike helmet.
No? Yeah, you get the flip up lid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or the flip up face mask.
The instructions on how to put this thing together, they give you a little QR code in the box that takes you to a short video on the website, and it actually disassembles it and then reassembles it. So you start watching it and you're like, what's going on here? They take it apart and then they reassemble it, and you kind of have to work your way backwards from doing it, and it moves pretty quick. And that's not that doesn't equate with my process of assembling it and figuring out now where do I make the adjustments? How do I make the adjustments? But $64. It's one of the cheaper bands that you can get that are, and frankly, it's pretty good in terms of what you'd expect out of it.
Yeah.
So does it let you use it without a light shield?
You could. I don't see any reason why you couldn't. I use the light shield because I'm used to the light shield.
Yeah, because it has this as the headband here. That's going on your forehead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people like it without the light shield. Have a little bit wider field of view. Yeah. Depending on what you're looking at.
But I would worry the light will leak out, and you'd see light outside of it to not simulate that the whole point of it is being virtual. So what's good is gonna be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to move the light shield, but again, I won't know until I try it. But it's interesting. We got a link in the show notes, so you can take a look at this yourself. And if you're a Vision Pro user, give it a shot. Anybody else want to add comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm officially announcing my paid consultation for people who are trying to figure out how to put this thing together.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck. Now you know where to go when you need help with that.
Yeah.
Yes. Right after I buy my Vision Pro.
But, Chuck,
this could put you over the edge. This could put you over the edge. It's an M5 processor. It's going to match your M5 MacBook Pro when that comes out. So.
Yeah, I think your strategy is paying off. You with good nature tolerated the ribbing as everyone made fun of you for not getting the initial Vision Pro, but holding out for the M5 processor, that was actually a pretty smart move. So well done.
Yeah, I think you're going to hold off. We'll talk about that in MacBook.
Yeah. I texted Dave and Eric and told them that I was going to sell my first model for $2 to Web and then pull it back. Say, no, you can't have it.
Oh my gosh. God.
But what he'll say next is that he wants his $2. So.
Yeah, I want my $2. Any other last comments before we move on from this? All right. As we mentioned, Apple did introduce the dual knit band for the headset. I was very pleased to see that. They are selling it. Of course, I purchased one. I believe, Eric, you did too as well. So you can buy one as an extra accessory for the Vision Pro, the first gen Vision Pro, and it's $99. And it's I'm looking forward to it. I want to see it giving it some better support. I've got the Belkin one that I've been using. It goes on the top of my head, but it doesn't come near. Now you're going to have these pretty solid ribbed headbands on both your head and in the back, and I'm going to be curious to see where that goes when it comes to that. So, and the other thing that I got Marty to buy, as I know he bought it, is the Logitech Muse, which they announced during WWDC that was going to be coming out. It is out now. This is a spatial accessory for designed to enhance the way you work, create, and collaborate with the Vision Pro. Combines familiar factors with advanced technologies, offering precise, immersive workflow as a pencil and being able to draw. I'm very looking forward to this and to see where it goes. It's going to ship on October 22nd. It's $129. It's $130 basically. It's like an Apple Pencil basically. That's what an Apple Pencil would cost.
Well, it's a little price wise, it's a little different than an Apple Pencil.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think Jeff would be excited about this because the demos that you see is like you can just draw in a 3D space,
right?
And create a design or an element that then's floating in the middle of your room. Different than an Apple Pencil in the sense that Apple Pencil needs to be close to an iPad in order for it to work. This doesn't need to be close to an iPad. It's connected to your Vision Pro headset, and that allows you to do design out in the spatial area.
Anything else?
Well, they were top notch. I mean, they made the the Logitech Crayon, and it was really awesome. Yeah. I'm not saying that it competes, but I'm like, they know how to do this right, and it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Yep. They're also Apple will be selling the PlayStation VR controllers for $250.
Yes, I forgot to put that in there. Thank you, Ben. I'll make sure I get that in the show notes as well. If you have it handy, go ahead. You could do it. Since you're the gamer on the panel here, when you get a chance. Anything else on that? We'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead.
I just had one more thing on the dual knit band.
Yes, please.
If you look on Apple's website, you can watch the video of the adjustment.
Oh, yes.
So I really like the dual loop band, except it's Velcro for adjustments. So if you need to tweak it, you like rip it off your head and stick it back on again. This, you get that ratcheting dial, and you can just gently click a little tighter, a little looser, and then you pull it out a little bit to get the ratcheting for the top part and click looser or tighter. So throughout your use, you can fine tune adjustment,
right,
and change kind of where pressure points might be so that you don't get tired wearing it. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, let everybody know too, when I went to go purchase it, you have to go through the sizing process using your iPhone. So I'm moving my head left, right, up, down. It's measuring my head to know which size.
Really?
Yeah.
You
Even though they know what size you purchased previously.
I guess so.
Yep.
Yeah. So, it was interesting to see why I had to do that, but yeah. So it's basically just like doing Face ID. You're going up, you're going down, you're going left, you're going right, and of course it was being kind of stubborn. I'm going to the left. And I guess I wasn't moving it slow enough. And then finally measured, and I said, "Oh yeah, you have large." Like I didn't know that. So yeah, you have to go through that as well. So
yeah, I was doing all of that in front of a nurse practitioner who's trying to figure out why I wasn't paying attention at the time.
Doesn't she know who you are?
I'm getting
Marty freaking Jencius.
I'm getting the dual loop band, but mine comes attached with a Vision Pro.
Right. But so you had to go through the sizing again through when you purchased it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So the same thing. Yeah. So. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Beta this week, we got iOS 26.1, iPadOS 26.1 is out that's beta 3, as well as tvOS and watchOS as well. No big things with that. Some of the newer things that came out with iOS is we're going to talk a little bit about the Apple TV branding change. So I won't hit that too much. There's now local capture settings that includes the ability to adjust gain levels when recording audio with a connected microphone. That's a new thing there. Potential third-party AI provider changes. There's some language in the beta showing that. So beyond that, there wasn't a huge dramatic look. I mean, and Ben, did you see anything when you updated?
Nope. This, excuse me. The 26.1 betas seem to be kind of that kind of beta that has that hidden major feature.
Yep, definitely.
Wait, you mean so they put gain in there, and I just bought a brand new box so I could have more gain?
Pretty much.
Yeah, but your hardware gain is going to be much more useful for you.
Yeah. But there might be code in there that says they're going to work with Tide too.
Yeah. So
Ben, do you want to have to go wait in the car again?
Oh man,
can't believe you said that, Ben.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Can't believe it took me so long to get
it. Speaking of,
did I miss something? I wasn't paying attention.
No, you did not.
You go back and listen later. No. I did forget to go into the chat room. So before we move on here, youtube.com/InTouchWithIOS, and Web Bixby did join the chat, and he said, Marty, you could give him that Vision Pro. I'm just saying. That's what he said. Yeah. And Brian F made an appearance out there. We got a lot of other great folks that are in the chat. Appreciate it. So go check that out. So with that, let's go ahead and move on from that. We've got some other things that were announced as well with the beta, and you got pretty much everything that was going to be going on. Apple is is preparing for another update to 26.0, which is 26.0.1. We have now 26.0.2 is internally being tested. It's probably going to be another minor update I don't know if there's going to be any major security updates that point with the 0.1 release added. So just wanted to mention that real quick. So let's go ahead and dig into some of the Mac announcements. But before I do that, they also released the Mac OS Tahoe 26.1 beta 3, and again, setting the stage for AI features. It'll be the first of the two betas that you're also seeing that. That's really what's standing out in Mac OS on Tahoe. And interestingly enough, I'm starting to hear more and more companies that are actually adopting Tahoe a lot quicker than they've done with previous operating systems because of the improved security. I think is the biggest thing, and implementing security needs is really what we're looking at as far as what Tahoe goes. So that's kind of cool to see. 26.1 will be continuing on. We would probably anticipate it's going to be coming sooner than later. But let's go ahead and compare what came out with the Mac OS, the MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro M5 had come out, and it was an M5 processor. And I was relatively impressed with the fact of that it did have that 10-core GPU with the neural accelerator in each core, and then you get about 3.5 times faster AI performance. No major design changes at all. You have the same liquid retina XDR display, about the 1,000 nits, and it. Beyond that, it's going to have. It says it's going to have offer up to 24 hours of battery life. That's crazy. If that's going to happen, that's a game changer all by itself. I'd be curious to see once we see the benchmarks on that. Wi-Fi is still going to stick at 6E, and it's not going to go to Wi-Fi 7. So that's interesting. So we're going to kind of see that. I put the comparison from Apple's website just to kind of see where that is going to fit into what the new products are out for now. So if you go to that, I did a comparison with the three models that were out: the 14-inch M5, the previous model, the 14-inch M4, and then I also put in here the M4 Pro to just kind of see a bit of a comparison here. Screen size, everything, it's the same. You got the same chips. The chips are different, of course. So you're 10 core on both the M4 and M5, so no change in the CPU, where, of course, the Pro is 14 core. And then 10 core and 10 core of the GPU. And then you go 20 core on the M4 Pro. You go up to 32 gigs of RAM up to date, where the Pro would give you up to 48. Now, the new M5 now can get up to 4 terabytes of storage. Cost you a pretty penny, of course, if you were to go do that. And then 2 terabyte was the M5 before. And then, they're saying up to 24 hours of battery life. I guess what the M4 had that too. Be interesting to see where that data comes from when it comes to that. Other than that, the same stuff, same storage, other than the increase in the storage on the M4. Not much else change. Chuck, what was your first impressions of this? I know you are always in the market to upgrade and looking at least this M5 in the future. I don't think this will be something you're going to look at. You want to wait for the Pro. I think I'm going to as well.
Yeah, for two reasons, not just for the Pro, but also for the 16-inch. As much as I've tried, and I have a 14-inch of a much lower model, there's still, especially if I'm traveling for business, I really want that 16-inch machine. It's a little heavier, fine. But your point is well taken. The M5 here that we're seeing, whenever I say M5, I keep thinking of Star Trek. It just,
your laptop will blow up a bunch of Constitution class starships.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the M5 is fine. It represents a performance bump, but by the time you do the configuration that I personally would want, I don't think it's going to be for me. I think I'm going to want to wait and see, when the time comes, how much of a bigger performance bump there is with whether it's a Pro, a Max, whatever they opt to call it. But at the same time, if you can live with a 14-inch And even if you're doing, heavy duty video rendering, this is still a nice machine.
Yeah.
Any way you take it. So, I absolutely do not mean to belittle it. Dave asked the question, what for me? And that's for me, I'm going to wait. But for a lot of the rest of the people, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Now, Marty, you did pre-order it, right? You pre-ordered, you're going to trade in?
Yeah, that was about the time they were doing the blood work. And I figured, what the hell? They're taking my blood.
He's groggy.
It was, I think I knew about the Pro before I knew about the Vision Pro. And so I always trade up, it's like, I don't want to sit with a used car too long. I got some nice money for my trade up. And as a result, it made the spending to get the M5, not that much of a dent for me. And that's the advantage. And I was sitting there thinking, do I wait? Do I trade up? Does the value of what I have depreciate to the point where I'm essentially buying completely a new computer next time instead of just kind of moving up the lease, essentially?
There you go. Eric, what was your thoughts on this M5 upgrade for the Mac?
Well, oddly enough, I kind of liked it, because I've been sitting around thinking, well, a MacBook Air would come close. I almost could just use that, but I wish it had a little bit more brightness, maybe some more storage, and this gives me pretty much what I'm looking for. I don't necessarily need the Pro features yet. I will change that next year, maybe around March or April. But for right now, I don't need it. There's a tiny increase in memory bandwidth. It doesn't seem like much, but I think it'll actually make a bit of a difference. So slightly faster response times to queries. So come next year, it'll be tolerable versus, there's just a little bit of a lag. Sort of the same reasons why the Vision Pro next year, I think it'll be worth having the M5 version, even though it will still work with the M2. So yeah, it's not, and there are certainly plenty of businesses that's all you're allowed to have. You can't get an M4 Pro or Pro Max. You get the M4 or the M5 and they have tweaked it just enough that it's a decent productivity machine.
Yeah,
I have no problems using that.
Jeff, how about you with the M5? Was anything stand out to you?
Yeah.
Don't sound excited.
Okay, well, here's the problem. While we've been talking, I thought, I wonder what I could get as a trade-in from Apple on my M2 MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
And which is $800. And I'm like, holy crap, it lost that much value that quickly.
No.
Yeah, so I'm looking at all the specs, and I'm feeling like if you just want to go into an Apple store and pick one up and not have to custom build one, you're really looking at having to go with the M5 with 24 gigs of RAM on it.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because now that I'm running macOS Big Lake on the M2 processor with 16 gigs of RAM, I have come to the realization that 16 is the new 8 for Apple's RAM.
Yep. And
it's just not enough. So, very long-winded way of saying, hey, look, if you're in the market for a MacBook Pro going forward, 16 gigs is not the base for you anymore.
Not anymore.
You need more RAM.
Yeah, when I went to buy my Mac Mini, the M4, I got 24 gigs of RAM. I made sure I updated that for that model. My M1 Pro MacBook Pro 16-inch is first off, they're only going to give me $625 for it now, which just makes me cry because. But I've also owned this laptop over 4 years, so that's that's to be expected. But yeah, I'm starting to see it lag too. I agree with you. This one only has 16 as well, so but I think 24 is a good sweet spot now. If you can afford 32, you might even want to consider it. But
yeah,
it does bump it up quite a bit if you go that high. So all depends on your budget. So.
Yeah. When I do comparisons, I like to go with what you can pick up in the store first,
right?
And then after that, play around with custom configurations.
Exactly.
Can I add one quick thing to that?
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
If you are thinking about going that way and buying something that is a custom configuration, see if you can hold off for just a little while and look at the Apple Refurb store. Because you will be able to save at least that upgrade, that memory upgrade, or I said that right, the RAM upgrade, with the discount that you'll get. And I have yet to buy an Apple Refurb that A, didn't look like it was brand new, and B, performed like it was brand new.
Yeah.
It's a great way to save a little money. It just means that you may have to be a little bit patient.
Yes, definitely. Ben, you had thoughts on this?
Yeah. Look, I'm sitting here on a first generation M1 Pro.
Me too.
Ever since they went to the current generation MacBook Pro body and screen, away from the form factor inherited from the Intel machines, the base MacBook Pro is a much better machine and a much better deal. The M5 update is, from what I can tell, one of the larger spec bumps there's been. So this is going to be a lot faster than my M1 Pro.
Oh, no question.
It's going to have a lot better battery life. And I mean, if you're on a, older MacBook, which is who they're trying to sell this to, this is going to do everything your current MacBook does and more.
Yep. But like Chuck said, be patient because there's still a lot of M4s in the product line right now.
Good advice.
And if you want to wait, if you're not ready to jump just yet, then wait for the M5 Pro or M5 Max. See where that goes. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to wait out since this I've been very happy with the Pro as this is my main driver. I think I'm going to wait it out too. Go ahead, Joe.
Same.
Yeah. So lastly, Jill, you have some thoughts.
Well, I bought the M4 Mini last year, and I did get the 24 of RAM because the RAM was my choking point when I was doing video work previously, and it's been great. Mm-hmm. And I swapped my M1 MacBook Pro, which I sold to my friend, and got the M4 MacBook Air, and I can do everything. I edit videos. I do Final Cut Pro. It's been great. Yeah. And I upgraded once because someone said, oh, Apple AI is coming and it'll be great for Apple AI. I'm just not going to do it again until I actually see it. But, I'm happy with the M4 right now. Everything's great.
Yep. So M5 is pre-orders were this week, and I believe they're also going to ship on October 22nd of 2025. So check that out. So let's move on to the iPad, the new iPad Pro, and with the M5 chip, it's got faster charging. It's got the M5 chip with the 10-core CPU. It's got 4 performance cores and 6 efficiency cores. It's featuring a next-gen GPU neutral acceleration in each core, allowing the new iPad to drive through with that engine. A faster 16 core neural engine is also is included with it, and some and Apple says performance gains and breakthrough improvements over iPads with the M1 chip are staggering. In addition to this M5 chip, the cellular versions of the iPad Pros will now feature Apple's designed C1X modem, allowing 50% faster cellular data performance than its predecessor, and with much more greater efficiency. So again, yeah, it's got all these fun things that Apple's going to tout. I did another comparison here from Apple's website here for the iPad models to really see what you're really getting here. And I compared it to the Air, as well as I compared it to all the iPad Pros. So the 11-inch M5 versus the 11-inch M4 or the 13-inch M4. So you are going to have the options of the 13-inch or 11-inch in the M5, which is great. I've got the 13-inch. Pretty much the same stuff with the sizes. You have the nano texture displays available for as the same. You can go to get a 1 and 2 terabyte model if you want. And the camera's the same. So pretty much, other than the things I just talked about, it is pretty much the same. It did get an iPad. Wow, what amazing that you don't have Wi-Fi 7. Okay. Not everybody has Wi-Fi 7 still to this day. I'm still rocking 6E, and I'm perfectly fine with it with my Eero router. So not a huge critical thing. Same support of the pencil and the same support of the Magic Keyboard. So you got those sizes. So really, there's no way I'm going to upgrade. Why am I going to do anything? I mean, I got the M4. I'm rocking the M4 13-inch. I'm happy as a clam with that. I don't see any need. And plus, I looked at the trade-in value. I just laughed. I think it was like $700, $600 or something like that. It's crazy. But I paid more than that for the 13. So, thoughts on this? I'm sorry, you, Ben. What the iPad? What do you think on this?
If you're coming from an existing iPad, if you have a M3 or older iPad Pro, this would be a decent upgrade.
Yep.
However, if you're one of those like me who didn't find iPad OS that particularly useful that this time last year, a lot has changed since then. That M5 class processor is now a lot more useful in an iPad.
It is.
So this went from being Apple's best hardware that was completely underutilized to maybe one of Apple's best machines, period.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, you've been an iPad user for a while. Not something that's compelling to you, or is it?
This actually is compelling. This is more compelling to me than the new MacBook Pro.
Okay.
And I've been playing with your specs page and matching up what I would want in my device versus what I currently have. And the new M5 does look like a very compelling upgrade. However, the caveat I will toss into that is if you have an M series iPad Pro already, unless it's one of the earlier models, like first gen of the M series, if it's doing what you need, it's really hard to justify upgrading. Because the M series processors are so good.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, I still don't have an M series iPad Pro. But I look at what the options are and then comparing them with now the M4, and there's not a lot of difference between M4 and M5 just for general specs. But I'm feeling like with the options that you get on the M5, don't buy an M4, buy the M5. I think unless you're going to replace it in a year, you will regret not getting the M5 model.
Yep.
It's very compelling. Also, I just priced mine out, and So before Apple Care, $14.99.
Yep. Before we move on to other folks here, I just want to make sure I hit the chat room here. Witherbucket asked a question: Do iPads and MacBooks all do Face ID now? No, they do not. The Mac is still Touch ID. The iPads, the Pros are Face ID, but the Air is not, and of course the low end model is not. So that's your answer as well. And Marty, just to let you know, Webb did say your $2 AVP offer. That's was my lost opportunity. Just to make sure you know that we just talked about.
Yeah, really.
It was.
I'll trade him. I'll trade him for one of his cars.
I saw them too. So, Barney, any thoughts on this iPad? You're not big an iPad user, right?
No, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Although, reading all the stuff that's coming out about it, it's like, well, maybe I'll take a look. And I took a look today and I got the same lousy trade-in value. And then it's like, I open my iPads. The most time I open my iPads, well, the mini is the one, Jeff talks about. I love to have this for reading. That's it. That's it.
iPad mini is great.
It's reading the newspaper in the morning. That's what I use it for. My other Pro iPads, I open up to upgrade the operating system. And then I close them down because I'm just not using the form factor.
Sure.
It's like, okay, I got to run. I'm going to grab a MacBook Air. Or if I know I'm traveling, I'm going to take the MacBook Pro with me because I might have to do some heavy stuff with it.
Yeah.
Rarely does the iPad. So I might be getting off that train completely.
Yep. Eric, you put a comment in the chat about your M4. Yeah, I agree with you that's a very good iPad. What was your thoughts on this? I'm not going to upgrade.
Yeah, I really don't have a reason to upgrade, at least not yet. Mine does everything I want it to do. It works really well. It gets a lot of use. Really, the only thing that's impacted my iPad use has been the Vision Pro, because I do some similar things across. I find I use my iPad less now that I have the Vision Pro than I did before. But there's some things where I still use the iPad and the Vision Pro. If you're sharing and handing stuff back and forth with somebody, it's much easier on an iPad.
Yep. Chuck, what's your thoughts?
I love the thinking of this group because they're looking at it from so many different ways than I do. I guess I use my iPad a fair amount, but I don't use it as much in a production fashion. So I've got an M1 iPad and, I'm sticking with it for now. That said, though, the M5, if I was going to upgrade, I agree with Jeff, go to the M5. And because I personally, if I can afford it, I like to buy as high up on the chain as I can, because it means it will, even if it doesn't it doesn't remain my primary machine, it will remain useful longer. And in theory, I might get a little better trade in, although what Marty's saying doesn't sound like it makes me optimistic. But, what it would cost me to get the iPad M5s I would want is a lot of money. And so I can't justify it right now. But I also sort of like the Vision Pro. I think this is built for the future. And it's built for the high-end people, but it's also built for the future, because the M5 brags about being having all the enhanced AI capabilities. And there's just no question that's where we're going. One way or another, whether it's Apple Intelligence or something else, that's where we're going. So think about that when you go and don't cheap out something, maybe wait a little longer, save a little more, and buy something higher up so that it'll last longer for you.
Absolutely.
That's great advice.
That is. Jill, I don't think I've hit you. What are your thoughts?
No. So I have the iPad Mini 4, which I love. I love that shape. And really the majority, and I hate to say this, of me using iPads is me playing stupid games while I'm trying to fall asleep, which might not be my best strategy. That's kind of because I used to travel and I used to use my iPad all the time. And now without traveling, I don't use it much. I do have an iPad Pro 11. And unfortunately, what happened after this, they came out with the Apple Pencil Pro, and it does not work with the M3 iPad Pro. So there is part of me that thinks I might upgrade because I'm trying to learn how to draw. And wouldn't that be nice, or paint or something like that? Wouldn't it be fun if I had the iPad Pro that I could use the Apple Pencil Pro with, which is better for drawing? So there is, I may, but I'm going to see what they give me on trade-in on the M3.
Yeah. So before we move off this topic, Webb in the chat says, I don't travel with my MacBook Pro often. He's got his iPad. In fact, he's using his M5 iPad watching us right now and chatting. So I definitely, as I was hanging out with him, he definitely was using that quite a bit. And so I tend to agree with that in some cases, but I don't know. I just kind of go back to my MacBook Air is what I travel with, and MacBook Pro and Mac Mini here at home. So, I would tend to agree with that. All right. I've got two more topics to hit before we wrap up. We're going a little longer this week. As I mentioned, I did travel. I was in Kansas City, got to enjoy it, taking a Chiefs game, and got to hang out with Webb. It was a great time had by all. But as I had said, I was going to be traveling. I wanted to make sure I tested out the AirPods Pro 3 on the plane. And I tell you what, wow, what a difference. Only the fact that my wife lost her AirPod because it fell out of her ear, and then I ended up having to buy another one for her at the Apple store. But in my case, it stayed in my ears. But I put it in. I put it in the noise cancellation mode. I tried all modes, transparency and adaptive. You go crazy on a plane, hearing all that noise. But when I went into noise cancellation, I did not hear a thing. The seal on these AirPods is just fantastic. I was watching Slow Horses, and I think I watched a morning show episode as well in the studio, and I've got some amazing experience. I know, Marty, you did too, but you said you had a little struggle with it, but it didn't pop for me. I was able to get into at least one full episode, and it was just a absolutely fabulous experience. So those of you still thinking about getting the AirPods Pro, for that reason alone, I think it's well worth it. My wife has the AirPods Max. She ended up having to go back to those when that happened, but those are good too. I don't think the noise canceling is as good as I have tried them on the plane, the AirPods Max headset. So I just wanted to give that review. And I don't know if anybody else wanted to add anything, Marty, after your experience.
Yeah, same thing. It was incredible. Yeah. My issue was that the seal was so tight, it didn't allow for air pressure changes in the cabin. So when I finally pulled the sucker out of my ear, it was like pop.
Okay. That wasn't that bad.
So that's a good sign. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Anybody else have any comments? All right.
Do you want to talk about iPad again, Chuck? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to point something out that while we were talking about the iPad, that I really hadn't picked up on, because if you go to compare iPads, and maybe this is something that's been there, but I don't remember seeing it. You can actually compare some of the new models with some of the lot older models.
Yep.
Like you can go back to the iPad 5th generation, not the iPad Pro, the iPad 5th generation. And this is extremely useful if you're thinking about, looking at what you could buy compared to what you have. And maybe this has always been there, but I don't remember it addressing, previous generation models.
Yeah.
Does anybody?
Yeah, it's been there for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think
you just never have old stuff.
Maybe, Jeff. Maybe it's always because if I go to these comparison pages, I'm looking at, am I going to get the expensive one or am I going to get the really expensive one? And I don't really think about, So yeah, I want to just throw it out there that don't miss that. if you are looking and trying to justify what you're spending.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea this was there.
Apple does done a great job with all their products. Mac, iPad, iPhone, they're all there. You can go back to the really old iPhone if you want to compare it. So yeah, it's kind of cool they've done that and still leave that spec there so people can get a good comparison. Especially if you could, let's say on the iPhone, if they're looking at the 17 and they might have a 12 or 11, to see what the differences is there. So yeah, I would definitely agree with you that that's a great call. Thank you.
But if you put a really old iPad in there, it goes womp womp.
That's where that sound came from.
They have the sound effect built right into the website. You're right.
We will give you our unstoppable love for trading it in.
Yes, but you'll get 0 on those old ones.
Except they're unstoppable love.
Yep.
So one last kind of interesting thing with the M5. On the M4, to get as much memory as possible on the iPad, you had to go with the 1 or 2 terabyte model. But the M5, it looks like all of the models have the full amount of memory of RAM.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for bringing that up, Chuck. You are right. I would never. It's good to call something like that out because it's been there for quite a while, and people don't generally know that you can go and get those comparisons on all the main products all the time. So,
well, especially for me with the iPad, because there aren't that many major differentiators from an external perspective, and the chip perspective is pretty much the only thing. And so, I find this really interesting because now it's making me rethink, should I start thinking about this or budgeting for it? So, yeah, Apple, you did your job.
They did. All right. And the last topics I want to hit this week, and this is kind of a combo here. The F1 movie, everybody, we've been talking about this all year. It was an amazingly great movie. I couldn't wait, so of course I bought it at a time before it hit streaming. So it is going to be hitting the streaming services on Apple TV. I'm not going to call it Plus in a minute. It will be out on December 12th. It's an amazing movie. Sadly, it doesn't have a lot of immersive video because I did watch it with the Vision Pro, and I'm still pretty sad about that they didn't have at least some enhanced immersive or spatial video. They didn't. I mean, the trailer did, but yeah, it was kind of a bummer. But still, it's a great movie, and you would really like it a lot. So December 12th, if you're a subscriber to that. And speaking of being a subscriber, Apple TV Plus, it's being rebranded. They're calling itself Apple TV. Okay, that's not too confusing. So it was kind of buried in the news release for about the F1 movie coming to streaming at the very bottom there. Oh, by the way, we're changing the name from Apple TV Plus to Apple TV, and it's a single line right at the very bottom there. It basically says Apple TV is available on the Apple TV app on over 100 countries and billion screens on all devices and so on and so forth, including all your smart TVs, and gives the pricing. But of course, they also offer the set-top box. So for us, we know what it is, but any normal consumer, when you use the word Apple TV, what does it mean? Oh, it's the Apple TV app. Yeah, you can use it on your Mac and on your iPhone and iPad. Oh, it's the set-top box. Oh, it's the service. So I find this to be fascinating. Apple decides to do this. I have another article here in the show notes of Eddie Q actually explaining what happened, and is it and why they did this. And it's not, to him, it's not confusing. Okay, so
yeah.
He spoke on the on a podcast here, and he basically says, Q said the decision was a collective one for Apple. We just decided, look, we put the plus in there because we've used it in our other services like iCloud Plus and News Plus, but we do not. But we do that when we are having a free service, but then there's a paid version. Well, okay, yeah, duh. We're staying with the consistency now because if we called all Apple TV, and we said, given where we are today, it'll be a great time to do it. He also explained that Apple no longer sees a need for a plus distinction now on the Apple TV's subscription identity, because it's been firmly established. Dropping the suffix brings the name in line with how consumers are ready to refer it to simply Apple TV. Okay. Boy, is that confusing. I know, Chuck, you do a great show with Charlotte Henry about the Apple TV and the Plus. I would venture to say you had a bit of a discussion on it. I'd be curious to see where your thoughts were on this.
Well, the funny thing is, we had just put a show in the can.
Okay.
That
all right,
has
this
been
is going to be fresh then.
and then the next day this came out, so it'll be fresh.
Yeah.
We're all making fun of it, including me, but I don't think Eddie Q's point is bad.
Okay.
Because it at some point, just call it Apple TV and be done with it. And do you want to name the device? I mean, you can always just find a way to say the Apple TV 4K or the Apple TV box or the Apple TV app or whatever. But if I say and let's think about it for a second. It's really the shows. So if I say I'm watching Slow Horses on Apple TV, do you really care if I'm watching it on the Apple TV box or on the Apple TV app on my phone? I'm watching Slow Horses.
Right.
Just like if I'm watching The Boys, you don't really care that I'm watching The Boys on my Fire TV or on my iPad or in the Amazon, or excuse me, I said that right, the Amazon app or whatever. You care that I'm watching the show. And so I think that, we are looking at it a little too intently and a little too critically. I think from a common sense standpoint, it works. It works to push people to the Apple TV service.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, they just call Apple Music Apple Music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, I want to get your thoughts in here because I know you're going to have some good ones.
You really think I have thoughts on this?
I feel
yes.
a hypothesis coming on this one.
Okay, so first, calling the streaming service Apple TV instead of Apple TV Plus does make sense because that's what people are calling it anyhow. However, it underscores how horrible Apple can be at product branding. Because right now, Chuck, I'll take your Slow Horses example. When we're done, I think I'll watch the new episode of Slow Horses on Apple TV and Apple TV on my Apple TV. And that sentence, if you parse it out, is correct, and it's stupid. But it is accurate. Apple has done this before, where they give us ambiguous branding. We've had iBook and iBooks, and we have other products like Pages and Numbers and Keynote, which that's horribly branded, because if you need to look up information about how to do something in Numbers, good luck getting a Google or Perplexity search to work on that. But that said, it does make sense to call this service Apple TV, and Apple needs to really work on getting its poop in a group in how it names and brands its products. Now, here's my hypothesis, and I hope this one is completely wrong. What if this rebranding is part of a transition away from making Apple TV hardware? I really, really hope that's not the case.
Didn't think about that.
I mean, we do have the whole gaming subscription, which it works on your other Apple devices, but it lets you use Apple TV, the hardware, as a gaming console.
That's true.
But man, I hope this isn't the end of their hardware, because I have no interest ever of using the apps that are built into a smart TV.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most horrible platform for running software. Underpowered processors, systems that are designed to be unapologetic data harvesting tools. Give me the TV, so that when something breaks, instead of having when the TV breaks, instead of having to start from scratch, I just take a new TV and set it in, plug in the cables, and I'm done.
Yeah.
That's how a TV should work.
Yeah. Not only data harvesting, they're ad platforms.
Yeah, they're ad platforms.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy another ad platform.
Yeah. I was going to say about the Apple TV Plus. So I just got done watching that fabulous Lost Bus movie. And I liked saying plus because I have a friend of mine who has a sketchy level of different services. So I can say, oh, it was on Apple TV Plus. And so now she knows, oh, I had to have the subscription. I don't have that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
A rose by any other name, Jeff.
Yeah. Marty, you've been quiet. What are your thoughts?
I think they ought to just rename the damn thing Viewmaster.
I am so on board.
It's old school.
I have a show title.
Just call it Viewmaster. And it's sort of like, it is a Viewmaster.
Oh, gosh. That was great.
I love my Viewmaster.
I did. The talking one, too.
You had a talking one?
I did. Yeah. With that spinning disc behind it. Yeah, that played the sound. That's another story. Eric, what's your thoughts on this?
We're into Dave's childhood.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck on the Viewmaster.
Yeah, I am too.
I really miss that. Yeah, it's confusing. I have no idea what they're going to do with it. They're not going to get rid of the hardware because it's still used to set up conference TV things.
It is.
Yeah.
We use them.
The only thing that kind of worries me is, whenever somebody gets rid of the Plus, it always seems to come back like a little bit later. So, what are they going to do when they do something past the Apple TV 4K? Are they going to do an 8K, or are they going to do an Apple TV Plus that's the hardware plus, not the, I don't know.
Or how about an Apple TV Plus service that costs more than the Apple TV service?
Yeah. Or they can just call it Apple TV Max, then get rid of the important part of Apple.
Like anyone would ever do something like that.
But if you call it Apple Service, then I say, well, I'm bringing in my Apple TV for service, so I have service. I don't know. It's just all bad.
It's going to be. We'll see where it goes because. I don't think that the hardware is going to go anywhere. Like you said, that's a great thought that a lot of companies use Apple TVs for conference rooms, and they also use them for digital signage is another thing. We use them for digital signage. So,
doesn't stop me from being worried about that happening.
No, I know.
But I agree. I don't think it's going away.
Yeah, I'd be at all surprised. All right. Anything else before we wrap? We'll go ahead and wrap up. That was a great show this week. We had a ton of stuff to talk about, and I'm so glad we were able to get in all of the new upgrades, and we'll anticipate more as the rumors are showing, and we'll talk about them when it does happen. So, but until then, let's go ahead and wrap up. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at In Touch with iOS. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. Become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and so you're notified when we're live streaming on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're streaming on Twitch. We're streaming on Facebook. I also was able to get it on the Facebook In Touch with iOS page now. We've got enough followers to do that, as well as We're on LinkedIn, and then of course YouTube is the one of the biggest places we've been for a while. And I'm glad to see Witherbucket and Web Bixby and a number of others in the chat. Thanks for being here. And so you will be notified when that happens on the channel as on YouTube, and then you can watch the current and past live streams as well as past shows you can listen to. You can also listen to our show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are just there on that site. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65. And we'll mix it up a little bit. And Jeff Gamet, thank you for being here this week. Where can we find you?
Well, first, thanks for including me.
Yes.
I have so much fun here. Let's see, where can people find me? Social media, Jay Gamet on pretty much everything. Most active on Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Pixel Fed. And fair warning, Inktober is in progress.
Yes.
So each day you're going to see ridiculous drawing from me from the Inktober prompts. Okay, then shows. Chuck lets me join in on Mac Voices Live on Tuesday, so thanks for that, Chuck. Here on Thursdays for your show, Dave. Then the British Tech Network, The Big Show and The Mac Show. Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brindamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Thank you so much. And Marty Jencius, thank you for being here. Where can people find you?
People can find me at Jencius, Jencius, at mastodon.social, and also on the X, I guess, but mainly Blue Sky. And Monday nights with Vision Profiles with both Dave and Eric at 9 p.m. We stream live on YouTube. I just posted a Vision Pro note about the new M5 Vision Pro.
Excellent.
So that's fresh, and you'll find that in the feed. Tuesdays with Chuck on Mac Voices. Thursdays, of course, here with this great group. And then occasionally on Friday mornings, but I've been missing Friday mornings because of hospitals and visits and things like that I've had to do on the Mac Show. All the rest of the stuff you can find on the podtalk.net. New episode of Fade to Chat that we will be putting out probably tonight on North by Northwest, that movie. And nice. Things happening with AI, productivity, workflow. So I keep myself busy.
Yes, you do.
In mixing and adding and stuff. So thanks. Sorry. I ran out.
Don't be sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it. Eric Bolden, thank you for being here and being on. I know you were traveling this week. We appreciate you being here. Where can people find you?
Oh, it's a lot of fun to be here. I can be found Mondays on Vision Profiles covering Vision OS. Tuesdays on Mac Voices covering Mac OS. And of course, Thursday here on In Touch with iOS, kind of doing a comprehensive wrap up of all of the iOSs, or all of the OSs, which is kind of nice. So that whole week-long coverage of everything works really well.
Yep. Thank you.
And on Mastodon, I can be found at EA Bolden at mas.to.
Thank you so much. Ben Roethig, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, you can usually find me trying to get cats off of me when I'm trying to record podcasts. Otherwise, you can find me on social media at Ben Roethig. You can find my writings and ravings at roethigtech.com. And you can find me on such shows as In Touch with iOS when I'm not working, or at Mac Voices Live, and the British Tech Network shows, the Big and Mac shows.
Thank you.
Not sponsored by McDonald's.
Did I forget you, Chuck? I think I did. Chuck Joyner. Where can people find
That's
you?
okay.
I should have been zig and zagging here. I got thrown off.
Yeah, I'm just here. Yeah.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Oh, no, Dave. Thank you for having me, as always. MacVoices.com is where you find everything I do, all the people I talk to, including this bunch of delinquents, or several of them, on Tuesday nights. On all the socials, you can find me as @ChuckJoyner. And if you don't mind a little tease, there's something special coming Saturday.
Ooh. Can't wait. Like it. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. Jill McKinley, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, I have 6 podcasts a week, and you can find them all at the website jillfromthenorthwoods.com, including my how you can reach me by email and Twitter.
Excellent. Thanks for being here. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thanks to everybody in the chat tonight at the YouTube. We appreciate it. But until next time, we'll be back next week. And thanks again for watching, listening, and we'll talk again soon.